So as we know, Manchester United are in desperate need for squad rotation and squad depth. So for me, these are the three players that I would personally sign that would be complete game changers towards Manchester United and Erik Ten Hag's system. Now, the positions that the players are going to be in, if you can't tell by the thumbnail, is going to consist of Nicolo Ravella, who, if you may not have heard, is our box-to-box /defensive player. We have Manuel Ugart, who's also a holding midfielder, who I think can be some sort of understudy towards Casemiro. And the striker, definitely going to be Harry Kane. Now, I'm going to explain all my reasons in throughout the video, but I'm just giving you a little heads up on who the players are and what to expect throughout the video. So we'll start off with the big boy first. We'll start off with Harry Kane. Now, as we know, Manchester United are in desperate need for a striker, and Harry Kane seems to be the hot take and the favourite type striker for Manchester United to sign. Now, Harry Kane is currently 29 years old, but he does turn 30 in July. So, if United did sign Harry Kane, I can guarantee we'll probably get at least 2 proper good seasons out of him. But I can honestly also see Harry Kane being one of them players that gets gradually better and better and better as his career goes on and he gets older. I mean, you look at players like Riyad Mahrez, you look at players like, Cristiano Ronaldo, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. You can still reach over the age of 30 and still go out and have a good career. And Harry Kane, I feel like, because he's never been naturally a fast striker, he doesn't rely on flair and speed and power. He's a natural, brilliant goal scorer, and you can't take that away. So if he doesn't rely on the pace that actually deteriorates and reduces as you get older as a player, then Harry Kane doesn't really need to do that. Harry Kane's link-up play is absolutely superb. And there's a stat I want to quickly talk about with Harry Kane, that his XG is before this season was 21 goals. He's currently got 27 goals in the Premier League. Now, if Erling Haaland wasn't destroying every single record the Premier League has this season, Harry Kane would be talked about probably one of the best strikers in the world, like Erling Haaland is. But obviously, Harry Kane is somewhat in Erling Haaland's shadow almost. But there's a player that I think that is going to completely make Harry Kane an even better player, because at Spurs, they've been all over the place this season. They're a decent side. They can beat anyone on their day, in my opinion. But with the way their issues have been this season, with the likes of Heung-min Son not playing well, the issues with Conte not having a proper system and vision of their season, they've kind of slipped out of the top 4 race. I think at the time of recording, they're currently sitting 6th place in the Premier League. So, considering they were actually challenging Man United for top 4, they've kind of slipped off a little bit. And obviously Pochettino has also been announced that he is going to be going to Chelsea soon. So that's obviously going to be disappointing for Spurs fans. But for me, Harry Kane, this player for Manchester United already exists, and his name is Bruno Fernandes. Now, Bruno Fernandes has created the most chances out of anyone in the Premier League this season, and actually the entirety of Europe. So, United are struggling to score goals. That's been United's issue throughout this season. Yes, we can beat a team by 2 goals, let's say, but we actually haven't had a clear indicated game of Erik Ten Hag where we've smashed a team 4 or 5-0, and I think that's what United are lacking. We're lacking that natural goal scorer. Marcus Rashford, yes, having a brilliant season, but apart from Rashford, where are the goals coming from? And it's time for players to be stepping up. And Bruno Fernandes is creating a lot of chances, but we don't have that main man up front to be scoring the goals. So that's why I think Harry Kane and Bruno Fernandes partnership will be absolutely brilliant. The only downside to that is that because Harry Kane comes so deep into the midfield to help with the build-up play, you might find Bruno Fernandes and Harry Kane in similar areas of the pitch, and they might clash into each other. But I'm pretty sure with coaching and chemistry, that won't be an issue, I don't think. So that's why I think Harry Kane will be the perfect striker for Manchester United. The CDM, okay, so as we know, Casemiro, a brilliant player, and he has maybe dipped in form over the last few weeks, but I feel like as well he's absolutely exhausted because Manchester United are actually lacking that natural, a backup defensive player. And Manuel Ugart, who currently plays for Sporting Lisbon, is a CDM who also can play box to box, but his primary position is the holding midfielder role. I personally feel like he'll be a perfect replacement and a perfect understudy towards Casemiro. He's only 22, Ergat, so he's got a massive future ahead of him. He's currently playing out in Sporting Lisbon and he's having a very good season. So, and he's currently valued at about 25 million according to Transfer Market. So, with Manuel Ergat, you can get him on the cheap, I'd say, for about 35 to 40 million, which I think is actually quite a good price considering the likes of Declan Rice, Caicedo, these holding midfielders that would probably revolutionise Manchester United, but with financial fair play looking to affect Manchester United this summer, I feel like going for a player like Ergat would be absolutely brilliant to adding him to Manchester United, because as well, with Manchester United possibly being in the Champions League next season as well, Ergat, if we're playing away, let's say we get Real Madrid in the group stages, if we're going to the Bernabeu, right, and we're getting pressed by Real Madrid, we can't be playing Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes and Eriksen away from home. We need more defensive cover, and for me, Ergat fits that profile. He's very physical, he's tenacious, he's strong, he doesn't back out of a challenge, and Manuel Ergat seems to be a perfect profilic player and fits the profile of what Erik Ten Hag requires and wants in his team, and I think he's the perfect midfielder for Erik Ten Hag's system, and he's quite cheap, and I feel like if you get him for under 40 million, that would be a massive bargain for us to be getting a midfielder of that quality. Now, the final player, Nicolo Ravella. Now, I've actually watched many videos on YouTube, Stephen Howson, Mark Golbridge on the United Stand, the actual United Stand community, you've got United People's TV, all these guys are absolute legends, Webby and O'Neill, all these guys are absolute legends, but none of them have mentioned this player called Nicolo Ravella, and for me, I feel like this kid is one for the future, because he's only 21 years old, he's currently out on loan in Italy. I mean, he's a Juventus player, and Juventus signed him from another Italian club who he was their youth graduate from, but he's currently a Juventus player, but he's currently out on loan in Monza, which is, I believe, our relegation side in Serie A. But Nicolo Ravella is currently valued, according to Transfer Market, at 12 million. He's 21 years old. He's a defensive box-to-box midfielder, and I feel like that as well, he would be the perfect replacement for the likes of Eriksen, Fred, McTominay, Donny van der Beek, Sabitzer. I feel like he's on level with all them players, maybe even better. And with the talks of possible Rabiot coming to Manchester United, I personally feel like you could get Nicolo Ravella for about 20 million from Juventus, and that would be a very decent steal, in my opinion. And I feel like you can nurture him, you can develop him, and he can become a very good player for Manchester United. Now, he's not a very attacking, goal-scoring, box-to-box midfielder where he's running up and down running into the opposition's box and running back to your box. He prefers the defensive cover, and his defensive awareness is very good for the age that he is. And for me, I feel like he's maybe 2 or 3 years ahead of his actual age. And I feel like he does remind me of a player that's actually about to go into his prime. So with Nicolo Ravella, I've only seen a few clips of him and I've watched a few videos of him. And from what I've seen of him, he seems quite strong. Again, like Ergat, he doesn't back out of a challenge. And I feel like that's what Manchester United's midfield is actually missing, that physicality. And with Ergat and Ravella, I feel like them two players would bring a lot to Manchester United, because the likes of Eriksen, for me, needs to be dropped to the bench. I like Eriksen a lot. But even with Eriksen, he can then become a backup number 10 for Bruno Fernandes. And I always see, I can never picture Eriksen as a number 8 player. I always picture him as that number 10, and right now with the age he is, and Eriksen can't play a full 90 minutes, make him a backup for Bruno Fernandes when Bruno Fernandes needs a rest. Now obviously, as we know, Bruno Fernandes has proven that he likes to play every single game. His fitness is absolutely out of this world, and his injury history is out of this world. But sometimes the mental tiredness can affect your performances, and Bruno Fernandes has been at fault for that a few times this season. So I feel like if we got 2 midfielders in Ergat and Ravella, or similar type of players, I personally feel like you can allow Eriksen to go as number 10, be a backup to Bruno Fernandes, and then we can have the likes of either Fred, McTominay, Ravella, Ergat, Casemiro, maybe Rabiot if we get him on a free transfer. I feel like that United can really strengthen their midfield if they go for these two players, and Ravella and Ergat to me will be absolutely brilliant. And obviously, like I said, with Harry Kane, that speaks for himself. Transfer market currently value Harry Kane at 90 million. I personally feel like with 1 year left on his deal, United can probably secure an 80 million to £100 million deal for Harry Kane. I don't think Daniel Levy is going to bargain a fair price. I think he's going to try and want to get the 100 million out of him. But United need to be strong and confident in their transfer negotiation this season. Because for me, I personally feel like that United have been at fault many times throughout the seasons where we take too long to negotiate deals, and then by the time pre-season starts we're still negotiating a player, and then by the time pre-season's over we finally somehow get the deal agreed and it was for the original price set. Our negotiation tactics aren't very good, and United need to be walking to Daniel Levy's office and go bang, 90 million for Harry Kane, take it or leave it. He's got 1 year left in his deal, he's already said he's not going to join you, so take the money now, reinvest it into your squad and we'll have Harry Kane, thank you very much. Because that's what I think is going to happen. But anyway, this has been my video on 3 important players for Manchester United should sign. So anyway, thank you if you made it this far into the video. Make sure you like, subscribe if you're new. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll be live later tonight. But anyway, thank you for watching and I'll see you later. Goodbye.